Dear students, on behalf of the Outreach Cell of Delhi Metropolitan Education, I, Parul Grover, Assistant Professor, DME Management School, cordially invites you to the Toppers Speak webinar series, specially designed to help the board aspirants of this year. My co-host for the day is Ms. Shanu Jain, Assistant Professor, DME Management School. We have with us Dr. Swati Jain, Head Outreach Cell of Delhi Metropolitan Education. Welcome, ma'am. This entire day is dedicated towards guiding the board aspirants as to how to go about and excel in their board examinations. For this, we have divided the entire webinar as per the three streams, namely humanities, science, and commerce. We have toppers from each stream who will share their success mantra of excelling in their board examinations. From the humanities stream, we have Mr. Tushar Singh, CBSE Board All India topper. Welcome, Tushar, and congratulations on this victory of yours.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have Ms. Sakshi Singh, who is the second topper of the CBSE board. Welcome, Sakshi, and congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have Ms. Damini Jain, a topper from Jaipuria Vasundhara. Welcome, Damini, and congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I would first like to invite Mr. Tushar Singh to share his story to guide the students to do better than how you did, Tushar. So the stage is all yours. You can share your PowerPoint presentation and we would like to hear you out.
So it's visible, the PPT?
Yes, it is visible. You can put it on slideshow mode, Tushar.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Tushar Singh. I passed my class 12 from Delhi Public School, Bulandshahr. My stream was humanities, and I'm currently pursuing history honors from Hindu College. So my subjects were English core, in which I scored 100, geography, political science, history, and physical education. So I would like to begin by English core. So English core till last year was considered a paper of 100 numbers, but now it's been reduced to 80 numbers. 20 marks is of ASL. So English core has a total weightage of 80 numbers, and the first part is section A, which is reading. So here we get an unseen passage, and there are questions. So in unseen passages, people, you have to first of all get a gist of what is written. Like you have to read it 2 to 3 times, so you get an overview, what is the general overview, and then you have to proceed to answer the questions. Often we all make a mistake that we directly copy the whole sentence or whole phrase from the passage itself. So that has not to be done. Instead, you have to get an idea and then you have to answer it. Like if there's a question, like there is a passage about India's independence. So the passage states that India got independence in 1947, and the question asks that when did uh, and the question asks when did India got independence. So you do not have to directly copy the entire line from the passage itself. You have to slightly modify it, so it seems like you have not directly copied it. And sometimes, and then you have to also read the unseen passage carefully, so as to not miss any idea. And there are sometimes difficult word जिनके आपको मीनिंग पता नहीं होते, so you have to use it in a sentence. You have to see where it's coming, though, so you can get an idea about it. Like if a statement, for example, if a statement is there like universities proliferated across India. So you have to see the context in which it is written. Proliferated here, if you try to think about it, it will seem like it increased in number. So you have to see where the word is placed, so you get an idea about it. The second portion is English writing. It's a slightly tricky section because you do not get full marks every time in it. It depends very much on answer checker, what's his mood, and also presentation. So there are many questions in English writing, like there is notice, there is letter to editor, there are business letters, article, debate, speech. So in that, you always have to remember that wherever it's possible, try to give examples. Examples are very necessary. Like in article, if let's say a question is about teacher, you can give examples about Chanakya and Chandragupta, Bairam Khan and Akbar. So you have to always try to give examples, and always always do not never use extensive vocabulary. Like, keep it short and simple. Your ideas have to be articulated very well. uh, if you use Tharurian language or Shakespearean language, the examiner may think that you are boasting your vocabulary. So that has not to be done. You have to keep it simple and crisp. Okay. And yes, keep your article as clean as possible. Do not make any cuttings, because that totally tempers your entire presentation. And if you have written very well, but your presentation is slightly below the mark, the examiner may not give you full marks, even your entire content was very good. So please do not make any cuttings. And if you made if you think that you are lacking in presentation, cut it out and write it again. Because I made a mistake in my class 10th exam. My English, I got 93 numbers in my English exam, and my presentation was not that good. So I made a point and I tried to upgrade my presentation, and it really helped me out in my English exam. Okay. And yes, never always write your article in 3 or 4 art, not only article, but all the questions that are of 8 numbers or 6 numbers. Always write in 4 to 5 paragraphs. Never write it in one paragraph. And keep in mind that your that paragraphs idea are to be different. Like one paragraph, a different idea means introduction. Second may have body. Third may have conclusion. Like this, you have to differentiate. Uh, you have to present different ideas in different paragraphs. Okay. And yeah, if you know any quote regarding any article, you can incorporate it. But it's not hard and fast rule that you have to incorporate it, or it's very necessary. No, if you know it, then you can include it, otherwise you don't. Yeah. So the third portion is literature. Literature, you have first, I would really like to say that you have to read what's written in your English class 12th book. You have to read it line by line. You cannot afford to miss any idea. Okay. And always look for keywords. Keywords are like are the words that are in CBSE marking scheme. So if a question comes like about how was the city at Faridabad, second chapter, literature. So you can say it was gloomy. There were the people were clubbed together in the factories. So these are keywords. Okay. Yeah, and stick to tense of the question. Many times what we do is what the question is asked in present tense, and we answer it in past tense. So it really it lowers your marks in grammar, and it creates a bad impression in the mind of the examiner. Okay. And yeah, underline the important value points. Always underline important value points, because when you highlight those value points, it gives a direct impression to the examiner that you know the answers and you are confident about it. Okay, and it also makes it easy to check the paper for him because he automatically sees what is important. Okay, so please underline the important value points. One of my teachers told that a girl scored 99 numbers in English exam, not 100, because she had not underlined the value points. So please underline the value points. It is very important. Okay. Yeah. 1 second. Okay. So the second portion is history. In history, the chapters are very wide. Okay, but you have to read it. You have to learn every line because the percentage of MCQs are more in number. So you have to read and learn every line of the chapter very carefully. Okay. Uh, Also, there are many sources in history which tells about what was written in Anne Akbari, what's written in how archaeologists interpret the sources. So you you can learn them because maybe a question may come that uh, what is this source from where it has been taken. So you should learn them because it's the CBSE exams are really unpredictable. So you should learn them. Last year, a question paper came in which the question was from source, so you have to learn them. Also sometimes sources come to interpret, so you have to get a general idea. It's more like unseen passage in English. So you have to always get an idea about what the source is saying, and often we are asked to analyze what could have been done, what the situation may have demanded. So you have to be neutral. Okay, you have to be neutral and try to give the perspective of both the sides. Like a question came in exam about partition, ki many women were taken forcibly from the families and taken to other families. Okay, so government so the government tried to return them, but then those women had formed family bonds with other families. Okay, so a question came, so you have to be neutral in it. Do not try to be overly towards one side. Okay, so please keep it neutral. Okay. Yes. So there are many pictures in our entire history book, and you have to learn them because this year also a question came about a sculpture and asked to whom it belonged. So it was the statue of Kanishka. So you have to learn them. It was a headless statue of Kanishka. So learn all pictures because there is a possibility that it may come again. Okay. Yeah, and there are always questions that are repeating, like Amravati one are repeating, Stupa one, how this built stupas, what is stupas, and who all contributed to them. And like in fourth chapter, there is what are the architecture at Sanchi Stupa. Like there are many sculptures in Sanchi Stupa. So you should always look for them. They are constantly repeating and they are very fetching. There are number fetching questions. So you should always try to watch them and prepare them very carefully because these they have the possibility of occurring frequently and frequently again. So please always look out for those questions that are repeating. These are 8 numbers question, 8 marks question, and these fetch you very well. Okay. Yeah, and 8 number answer should be at least 2 pages long because there may be 8 points, but if your answer is just limited to 1 page, you may not get full numbers. I learned it hard way. So you have to keep your 8 number answers at least 2.15 page, 2.25 pages long. So it's very necessary. You should and yeah, and try to keep 4 number answers in 1.5 page because it really rules out the possibility of deducting the numbers. Uh, you may go above the word limit, but if you go below that, you may your marks may be deducted. Okay. Yeah. Second. Yeah. So geography was my Achilles heel. Uh, it was the subject I feared the most. Okay, so yeah, geography. So you should always like maps are a very important component of geography. 10, I believe 10 numbers are allocated to map itself. So please, there are uh, there are questions of identification itself, and there are questions of locating. So you should be aware of what is the syllabus in map. Okay, so like there are petroleum refineries and national parks. So you should remember all the questions that all the places that are coming in the exam. So if there is a and they usually locate it in a particular state and ask them what is this particular location, what is the national park or what is this petroleum refinery. So if there are if in the syllabus there are two places in that state, so you may get confused, like if it's Ankaleshwar or any Kalol. So it really confuses you a lot. So you should try to learn all the places that are coming in the maps. Okay, and there are many tables in geography, like there is pollution table, water usage table, underground water usage table. You should learn them because because there may a question may come. Okay, so you should learn all the tables. Yeah. And with please check CBSE marking scheme of previous years. The answer, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Tushar, you're very much audible. Please
Yes.
go on.
Yeah. So always write your answers with keywords. Keywords, I'm again saying it's more like words that appear in marking scheme. Okay. So if you check marking scheme of the previous year, there the answers are provided in keyword format. Okay. So you if the keyword is in your answer, then your answers are marked as right. Okay. So you should always write your answers with keywords. Try to identify from where the book it's been taken. Okay, and try to answer it with keywords. Okay. Political science. Okay, political science was my favorite subject after history. So political science very interesting. And maybe learning it was still a hard process. Okay, so basically the format remains the same. You should all try to read every line with carefully and learn it. Also, frequently made mistakes, I'm telling. uh, People do not learn the names of personalities that appear in cartoon, and oftentimes they are asked in exams. Okay, so there were many cartoons in which there were many personalities. Like in the first chapter of the second book, um, there was a cartoon in which opposition was trying to pull the Congress, and the Congress was sitting on a tree. Okay, so there are under it names of the personalities were given. So you have to learn these type of cartoons. And maybe in second or third chapter there was a cartoon in which they were trying to balance public and private sectors, and many personalities were on the both sides. So you should learn all these types of cartoon. And in the last chapter also there was a more like a roller coaster, and in which many leaders were sitting, and below it names of them are written. So these are asked, and the questions that are asked from it is like name four leaders in it. So you may answer one or two, but third or fourth, it's very hard. We are not born in uh, they are leaders of old times, so we may not know their name. So please try to learn them. And yeah, and try to infer the meaning of cartoons. Yeah. So you should see all the cartoons that are in first and second books, and you have to try to infer their meaning. Like in my CBSE exam, uh, the cartoon came from security chapter. Okay, and it was in which bigger powers are trying to stop the smaller powers from entering into the nuclear arena. So it was the cartoon of Iran and North Korea entering into the nuclear weapon fields, and bigger powers were trying to stop them. So question came, how, on the what basis small powers can be entrusted with the responsibility of nuclear weapons. So you have to answer it in a neutral way, okay? That there may be political instability. If countries facing political instability shouldn't be allowed to have nuclear weapons, okay? Like this, we have to answer it. And again, value points, basically keywords, should always remain same, okay? And there are particularly chapters from which bigger, so like emergency is a very big chapter, and there are all always a question is asked from emergency, 6 pointers. So you should try to focus more on these chapters, okay? And also I would like to number 6 pointers are analytical in nature. So you have to analyze it and always write your own viewpoint in the last. So basically it does not create an impression that you have only rote learned, and you also carry your own viewpoint. So uh, you have to write in the end your own impression of what you have learned and what is your viewpoint on it, okay? It's general idea. Do not rush while answering, because we may know the answers. We may know the answer, but we are rushing it, so we may get it wrong. So like if the question is asked, what is when India got independent? So answer is 15 August, but in rush we may write 15 July, 15, maybe anything else. We may mark it and write in MCQ. So please check it that you are not rushing while answering the answers, because it's the biggest mistake you can make while answering and while you know the answer. So please do not rush it. Yeah, and always check. Yeah, if you have missed any question after you have completed the exam, always check the chronology. If you to check if you have oftentimes we skip one question in between. So write it. If you have missed it, write it at the end of your exam in the answer sheet, okay? MCQ, if you have selected an answer, try to see if other three options are eliminated or not, okay? Try to see. Hello, ma'am, I'm audible.
Yes, Tushar, you are very much audible. Please carry on.
Yes, ma'am.
Very,
Okay,
very
ma'am.
specific tips, even taking the
It was written.
other things into
Yeah.
consideration and every topic that you have covered.
Yeah.
Please proceed.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So
I guess there is some network issue from your side. Damini and Sakshi, can you hear him?
Ma'am, I think some connectivity issue at his end.
From Tushar's side, it is there.
Tushar's video is stuck, so I think there is some network issue.
basically it creates
Yeah,
a kind
he's back.
your mind is okay. Yeah. Always question has other parts or not. Yeah. Often we answer one part of the questions and we miss another. Like if the question is asked how emergency was lifted and what was right of the question, and second part we may forget to answer. So please try to check and see if you have missed any part of the question or not. It's very important. I made mistakes in my pre-board exams, so please check it. And easy as compared to the previous mentioned ones. So you have to read and learn your prescribed books carefully. Whatever the book may be prescribed, maybe it's Saraswati or Rachna Sagar, you have to read it, okay, and try to draw a diagram wherever it's possible. Yeah. So there are many movements diagram in the book, and always question is asked on those. So you have to draw a diagram wherever it's possible. So basically it creates an impression in the mind of examiner that you know the concept very well and you are able to draw diagram, okay? And there are yogasana pictures, so you can draw them, okay? Draw pictures neatly. We may ask to give fixtures like buys and seeding on special seedings. So you have draw and scale, pen, pencil. Okay, so it's neat, it's tidy. Okay, if it's a अगर इसे जल्दी में बनाओगे तो मार्क्स कट सकते हैं आपके, ठीक है. Please do not hurry while making fixtures and do not miss any detail while calculations for buys or seeding. Okay. Oftentimes there are many calculations while calculating buys or seeding, like number of buys in upper half, number of matches, number of stages. So you have to give each and every detail so that there is no possibility of deduction of your numbers. Okay. Yeah. And presentation, it's according to me, presentation is the most important aspect of while answering, because if your presentation is not good, then I cannot say that you can score 100 out of 100. And my presentation was not very good in my class 10th exam, so I suffered a bit. And I have seen my batchmates who were very much aware of their content, have learned it very well, but their presentation was not good, so they suffered. Their number, I can easily say 9. If your presentation is not good, so as to score higher numbers. Okay, so if allowed to use black and blue, otherwise 2 shades of blue. Okay, so sometimes we are not allowed to use black pen, like we weren't allowed to use shades of blue. One shade was darker, other shade was lighter. Okay, 3 shades of blue. You can use lighter shade for highlighting, okay, or writing subheading. Use lighter shade for highlighting or subheading, and write the content with darker blue. I use underline the value point for not underlining. So you have to underline the value points wherever it's possible, in everywhere, in reading, writing, and literature. Everywhere you have to underline the value points. Okay, and you have to write without cutting. Please do not make any cutting. If you have made any write without cutting, and try to make it as clean as possible. Okay. Yeah, from many years paper, they are available on CBSE, and they are also available in market. You should go through past 10 years and see what type of questions are appearing. So, the examination pattern on changing. So you can only MCQ portion has changed. The rest of it has a bits, can go through them. And always check, try to check CBSE marking scheme to get an insight about answer. Basically, you get to know many things from CBSE marking scheme, like half mark is deducted on 2 grammatical mistake. 1 grammatical mistake may leave you. Okay, your marks will not be deducted on 1 grammatical mistake. 2 grammatical
I think there is again some network issue.
and try to see how they are answering. My human subjects answers. Physical education is not available on that. English model answer, it's very helpful. I think from 2019 to 2013 to 2019, ones are available on CBSE site. You should check them. They are very helpful, and they are those copies which have scored 100 numbers. So you should check them. Okay. Yeah, and learning. So humanities entails subjects that are that you have to learn, and the content is very huge. So if possible, you should try to write and learn, or learn and write. So basically what I used to do, I used to learn them and I used to write them in my rough copy. I was not a very particular kid about my homeworks, but I didn't used to do my homework. Okay, but what I used to do, I used to learn what I used to learn, and then I used to write it in my rough copy. My rough copy portion was much larger than that of my homework. Okay, so if learn and write and try to revise. Revision is the key. If अगर आप एक दिन याद करेंगे और आप उसे अगले दिन रिवाइज नहीं करेंगे, तो आप तीसरे चौथे दिन so then you are just learning again and again. Okay, so that's the wastage of time. So you should revise as much as possible. I I do not have a number, but I may have revised more than 20 times. Okay, so please try to revise. Revision is as much as possible. It's the most important tip that I can give you. Okay, revision is the key. You have to revise what you have learned. Try to revise. If you have learned it if let's say you learned a concept on Monday, okay, then you should revise it on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Like this, you have to 3 times. You have to revise it in the same way. Okay, and try to devote an entire day to you get hold of the concept that you have learned. Okay, and you do not forget it. Okay, please, revision is the key. I cannot make it more simple for you. Revision is most important. Okay, yeah, try to solve questions and find out what you are missing in your answers. Yeah, please try to solve sample papers. Okay, and try to assess it yourself that what you are missing in your answers. Oftentimes we make mistakes. Like I used to make mistake in my English exams. My reading portion was not that good, and also note making. This time I think note making is eliminated, but earlier I used to solve questions about note making and try to see what I was missing in my answers. Okay, and this is very important for all history, geography, and political science. So like let's say you are doing an 8-number question, okay, and you are currently able to do only 6.6, able to write only 6 point. So try to assess yourself what and check if you have made any mistakes in 6 point that you have previously written. Okay, and see and try to assess what you are missing. Okay, yeah, try to solve papers half an hour earlier. It's very important that you solve papers half an hour earlier because you get time for revising. Okay, and do not hurry. Okay, do not hurry. Try to keep a sane mind while writing answers, because the situation is very tense at that time. Okay, we may all, and sometimes when we do not know an answer, we get on the verge of a breakdown. Okay, so please, if you are not knowing the answer, leave it for that time. Try to leave a space. Okay, try to leave a space for that answer, and आप आगे बढ़ जाइए. ठीक है, please. So try to solve papers half an hour earlier. Yeah, so it's for revising. It's for revising what you have written, what your answer sheet. So when you have completed your through what line by line, okay, it's more like solving the question paper again. Okay, you have to go through your entire answer sheet, what you have written. So please go through it and see if you have made any mistake, because in the examination room the stress is at such that we may make and we don't know it while writing answers. So please go through the entire paper again, line by line. Okay, yeah, and try to check if you have made any grammatical errors in English paper. Especially you have to see because we may unknowingly commit grammatical errors, and you have to check it if there is any grammatical error or not. Okay, yeah. So my final advice would be your efforts will be counted, not your marks. So basically जब आप पूरे अपने 100% एफर्ट दीजिए, आप उसमें उसके फल की चिंता मत करिए. जब आपका रिजल्ट आए तब आप अपने आप को शीशे में देख के आंख से आंख मिलाकर कह सकें कि ये मेरा 100% एफर्ट था और मैंने इसमें अपनी पूरी जान लगा दी, ताकि आपको एक रिग्रेट ना हो कि मैं और भी अच्छा कर सकता था. आपके अंदर ये रिग्रेट ना हो कि मैं और शायद मैं थोड़ा सा और लेता जाए. So that's my final advice to you all. Okay. So best of luck for your exam.
Excellent advice by Tushar. Your efforts will count, not your marks.
Yes.
Superb,
Thank you, ma'am.
Tushar. Superb. You can stop sharing now.
Yes, ma'am. Just one second.
This has been a wonderful presentation, Tushar. You have given very specific tips about the subjects and the topics that are there in your syllabus. And apart from that, you've also told a very specific point, like for 2 grammatical errors, there will be 1 mark that will be deducted and other such things. So these are very specific
Yes,
things.
ma'am.
Thank you, Tushar. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Tushar, you can end your slideshow.
yes, ma'am. Just 1 second, ma'am. It's lagging a bit.
Next, I would like to call upon Miss Damini Jain, who is a topper from Jaipuria Vasundhara. Damini, once Tushar stops his screen share, you can share your screen and we would like to hear you out.
Ma'am, have I stopped sharing?
Yes,
Or
yes, you've stopped sharing.
okay.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, you can put it on slideshow mode.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I would like to begin by introducing myself. My name is Damini, and I am from Jaipuria School in Vasundhara. Currently, I am a prospective English major at Ashoka University. So, in class 12, I had a total of 5 subjects, which are English, history, political science, economics, and psychology. And over the next few minutes, I will be going through some general practices to follow when preparing for these exams, subject-wise, as well as giving some general tips. But before I begin, I want to emphasize that at this point, most of you must have an idea of certain study techniques or practices that work for you. And just because they haven't been mentioned in this presentation doesn't mean that they are not useful. And you should definitely continue to do them if they have presented you with good results in the past. Instead, try to incorporate these new techniques as much as possible along with what you have been doing earlier. Let's talk about English. These points may seem very obvious, but they are crucial to writing a good paper. Firstly, vocabulary. It is not necessary to use flowery language to make your paper look better. Using words that are too complicated or writing very long sentences can work against you. As Tushar said, please don't use Tharurian or Shakespearean language. It doesn't help. Just make sure that your sentences are grammatically correct. Exceptional vocabulary is not central to writing a good paper. Even if it is reasonably good and easily understandable, that works perfectly. Secondly, never write in bullet points. If you have looked up writing samples online, you will see that some of them use bullet points, which is especially very common in the case of business letters. However, business letters are not part of your syllabus this year, so do not replicate this technique for any other letters, especially letter to the editor or the literature section. If you need to bring focus to your points, underlining the keywords is the best way to do that. Now, for the reading section, for the writing section, the easiest mistakes to make is that you may use language that sounds informal. Never use contractions and frame your sentences in a formal manner. These are small issues to think about in comparison to the overall content of your writing, but they may cause you to lose marks. And the key to a good paper is attention to detail. Similarly, whenever you're preparing for English, always remind yourself of the format, including how much space you need to leave between paragraphs or whether you need to make a box for the writing or not. Stick to the word limit. The best way to practice for the writing section is to look up the sample question online. For things like job applications or invitations, a lot of the content will be same no matter what the question is. You will save your time by preparing standard templates for these and remembering those. For example, in the case of a job application, the same exact cover letter can be used for almost all cases with very minor changes according to the question. So do that and save yourself a lot of stress before the exam. For the reading section, it is the easiest in terms of scoring. During your reading time, begin by reading all the other sections first. Then you should have some time left, which you could utilize to get a head start on reading the passages. Read the whole passage before you begin to answer the question, and you will know exactly where to find your answers. Reading the question and then trying to figure out the answer will take more time and will leave you uncertain if the question is indirect. There will be definitely questions related to vocabulary, so brush up on it when you're reading, so that you know synonyms or antonyms of the words used in the passage. For the literature section, the only way to write an impressive answer is to incorporate details, even if it is not an RTP. Mention the name of the author when you refer to them for the first time in your answer. Use specific phrases and words from the lessons themselves. For the poems, you should be able to analyze them line by line, because a lot of the questions will present you with a specific line and ask you to explain that particular line. Moving on to history now. Before I go through these points, keep in mind that all of these points are equally applicable to political science. And some of these are contrary to what I just said for English. Which brings me to my first point: always write in bullet points. The number of points you put forward for a question must at least be equal to the weightage of that question. But if you want to write more points, don't shy away from it. In fact, some questions will need you to write more points than the weightage of the question if you are to cover all your bases. Next, write subheadings for your points. This gives the examiner an immediate idea of the content in the point that follows. It will also help you stay on track while writing an answer, and will help you prepare a blueprint for the question before you answer it, instead of instead of winging it as you go, which is stressful and unhelpful. When you're preparing, be sure to read your textbooks cover to cover, including the definitions, extra information, and the stories given in the book. Read the captions beneath each image at least once. A lot of them have useful information which can be used in answers. Lastly, map work, which may seem very difficult considering the sheer number of maps in the book. You don't need to know how to mark every single one of them. Just go to the cbseacademic.nic.in, open the history curriculum. On the last page, you will find a list of maps along with every location that can be asked in the question. Just focus on those and nothing else. For political science, I reiterate what I said before. All the points applicable to history are applicable to political science. Write subheadings. Read at least once all the extra information given inside the book. Additionally, web charts are also useful to give a glimpse of your answer in the beginning itself. The web chart should then be followed by more detail about each of the points. You may also be asked questions which require you to write down a list of events. In such cases, using flowcharts or even a timeline can make your answers easily understandable and more attractive to look at. So break it down step by step. As a bonus, practicing such questions in this format will help you prepare for them and reduce your margin of error in the final paper. Remember that while writing the paper, your ultimate goal is to make your answers understandable easily and quickly. But when I say quickly, I do not mean that you should use incomplete sentences like you do when you're writing notes, or write answers way shorter than the word limit. Use full sentences and write 5 or 6 line points, but make it easy to understand by underlining key points. Economics is now a little different than the other subjects we have discussed so far, and so the approach towards it is a little different too. This also applies to the two sections within economics, which are very different from each other. In the case of macroeconomics, create a standard template for long answer questions. Do this for each concept. For example, if you have to write about the circular flow of income, Begin with an explanation of the meaning of circular flow and the assumptions that it works under. Draw a schedule if applicable, which is followed by a diagram or a web chart. Then explain the diagram, followed by a detailed explanation of the concept itself. Do not leave out even one of these points because it may seem too obvious at that time. Nothing is obvious. Keep this in mind for the numerical questions as well, where it may be tempting to skip on one or two steps and directly write down your answer. Write down each step of the calculation and the formula wherever you apply one. Diagrams should be neat and labeled. Web charts are an extremely useful tool. Do not shy away from using them. Moreover, divide your answer sheet into halves when you are writing questions that require you to distinguish between two subjects or differentiate between them. This makes it easier to understand, but contrary to if you write such answers in paragraphs, which will require a lot of effort to fish out the differences from the paragraph, and is also virtually indistinguishable from when you're asked to write similarities of 2 points. Do not confuse the examiner. Indian economics is more similar in nature to the theoretical subjects like political science. So remember to use the point format when answering questions and always write subheadings. However, there is a lot of data given in the book. You do not have to memorize all of it, since questions regarding data analysis will usually provide you with the necessary information. However, do try to remember statistics for certain smaller things, such as the division of the workforce into formal and the informal sectors. These kinds of data are simpler to remember than the more comprehensive tables, and using them in answers gives a better impression of your knowledge and enriches the overall quality of your paper. Moving on to psychology, before I talk in detail about any of these points, it is very important to remember that psychology requires just as much effort as the other subjects. It may not seem like it because in comparison to the other subjects, the theory part is 70 marks and there is only one book, but the book is very heavy in detail and the content requires a lot of work to understand. Similarly, the completion of the paper actually takes more time than other subjects because of the detail-heavy nature. Once again, you have to write a lot in each question. Which brings me to my first point, be very detailed. Do not leave out crucial points and always give examples along with your explanation. Make a habit of this because certain questions will explicitly ask you to explain a concept solely through examples. Most of the time, you will be able to find these examples in the NCERT itself, but do not stress out if you cannot find them or if you forget them while you are writing the paper. You can use any examples. It can be a hypothetical situation you have imagined on your own or examples from real life. They don't necessarily have to be from NCERT. An example of this is a question I had in my own board paper, which asked me to explain the techniques of conflict resolution by giving an example of a real-world international conflict situation. You will find many such real-life applications of the concepts you have learned, and they may be very well asked in your paper. Yet again, please make web charts. Specifically for the long answer questions, make a web chart every single time and mention all the subtopics you are going to discuss. Follow this up with the subheading being discussed point by point. I know that I have said this a lot of times, but that is just how important it is, and it will guarantee that your paper stands out. Make sure that you learn all the definitions given inside the book by heart. For every question, before you go into the details, write the definition of whatever concept, theory, therapeutic approach, or disorder that you're talking about. That is it for the subject-wise tips, but there are some common ideas that are applicable to all subjects. Underline the keywords in your papers. I cannot stress how important this is. Firstly, it highlights your points and ensures that nothing is left unnoticed by the examiner. It makes your paper easier to read and the process of marking much less frustrating. Unlike if you write long paragraphs and the actual point has to be fished out. Moreover, when you're underlining the keywords, it leads to a revision of your answers. So do this highlighting work after you have finished writing the whole paper. This goes without saying, but write neatly and leave adequate space between each point and between questions. Use as much space as you require. Do not cram your answers. There is no need to start an answer from the same page if there's only 3 lines left. Turn around and fresh start. Start afresh. Always start your paper from the last question. Ideally, you should be able to finish your paper in 2.5 hours. But starting it from the last question ensures that you do not leave out too many questions in case you run out of time. Moreover, it's kind of a universal experience that you pay more attention, your handwriting is better, and you think better at the start of a paper and then at the end of it. Ideally, this should not be the case and you should definitely be consistent. But if it does come to it, you should not be putting more marks at risk than necessary. Time is perhaps the most important factor in any exam. Time management is crucial, both during preparation and inside the exam hall. When you are preparing, stick to the timetable you made and don't procrastinate. Leaving studying for later is not going to help your future self, and you will end up sleep deprived. Your health is bigger than the exam, so don't risk it. During the exam, keep track of the time so that you have enough time left for revision at the end of it. One trick to gauge the amount of time that must be spent on each question is to multiply the weightage of the question by 1.5. At this point, I should warn that some questions will take a little more time. This is especially true for the long answer questions. If this happens, there is no need to stress out. That time will be made up for easily when you're answering the objective type, MCQs, or 1-marker questions. Just try to stick to this technique as much as you can. If you cross the time limit for any question, it is a signal that you need to write faster. Lastly, take out a half hour from your schedule any day and check out the curricula available for all your subjects on CBSE's website. It is an extremely useful tool to understand the breakdown of your syllabus, the importance of one topic in comparison to another, and it has some very useful tips to be used in your practical exams as well. Now, all of these tips may seem very overwhelming, but they don't have to be. One of the worst things you can do to burden yourself is drown yourself in countless reference books trying to memorize every last word that each one of them has to say. There is absolutely no need for reference books. All the material that you need is available in your NCERT. If you have read it once, go through it again. That is the most important step in preparing for your exams. If possible, read it out loud. Economics, however, is a little different. For that, I would suggest that you use Sandeep Garg. The concepts are very clearly explained and the information is already available in bullet points, tables, and charts, which saves you a lot of the effort of making them on your own. Once you have finished reading, use sample papers to practice. You can find many of them online, and schools are also providing them in the form of free boards. If you're searching online, make sure you do the one provided by CBSE because it will be the closest to the real thing in terms of difficulty and the types of questions available. All of this being said, please don't overburden yourself. When I say that sample papers are useful, it doesn't mean that you end up doing hundreds of them. Overburdening is not helpful to you, which brings me to perhaps the most important points of my presentation. Take care of your mental and physical health. Board exams are indeed very important, but nothing is worth compromising your health for. Anxiety is part of the experience, but don't let it overtake you to the point of a breakdown or even to the point of distress. Stress is good, but only as long as it motivates you. It should not become a hindrance. Don't compromise on your sleep or your meals. Exams are high on the priority list, but not higher than your health or your interpersonal connections. Please keep talking to your friends. Share your anxieties with them and listen to them when they are not okay. Support each other and help each other. You can help each other in studying or practicing for exams and remaining calm for them. Don't try to stretch yourself thin by studying for hours on end. You will not retain any information and you will burn yourself out. Take breaks and breathe. Even if the syllabus seems like too much to handle at one point, you will be able to do it, and you have a lot of time before your exams begin. Tackle your papers one question at a time. Whatever the scenario, you will be okay. I wish you all the very best for your exams.
That was very wonderful, Damini. I am really glad and surprised to see just 12th standard passed out students talking so maturely and so diligently. So, claps for all of you. Excellent.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And I'm sure the audience is gaining and taking notes of all the do's and don'ts that these students are providing us with. So next, I would like to call upon Miss Sakshi Singh, who is the second topper of the CBSE board. Welcome, Sakshi. You can share your screen now, and we are all here to hear you out.
My screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I would like to introduce myself, and I'm Sakshi Singh, and I'm currently pursuing BA Honors Political Science from Miranda House, and I did my schooling from Delhi Public School, Bulandshahr, and I'm here to share with you some tips regarding your coming board examination. So I have prepared a small PPT with you. So I had humanities in my class 12th, and my subjects were English core, political science, history, geography, and informatics practices. So what is most important during your exam time? Studies and your hard work. The first thing you need to do is comprehend the syllabus, which means understand the syllabus completely. And the second most important thing is listen to the teachers, because you know teachers are the best guide, and each and every instruction of the teacher proved to be of great significance. Third thing is familiarize with the format, in the sense that know the type of MCQs that will be asked and whether the source is asked from the text or from the sources, and then read accordingly. Solve previous year papers. Previous year papers acquaint students with the type of questions asked. Proper planning is must. Like if you have decided that you will complete this part of the syllabus by this time, then stick to it. And practice, it makes a man perfect. So revise again and again, and that will help you to do wonders in your exam. The second important thing other than studies and hard work is your health and your attitude. Always keep positive attitude. There's a law of attraction that what you imagine, you attract it in your life. So always imagine doing wonders in your exam and you'll get the results. You know, every student, they have different, every student is different, and they have different times of their concentration. Like some students, they are able to concentrate more during the morning times and some during the evening times. So I would suggest you to identify your best time to study. And according to me, I think you should be in bed by 10:30 and get up at 6, because you know proper sleeping hour is also necessary. Coming to meals, healthy mind stays in a healthy body. So your proper dinner, breakfast, and lunch should be on time. I would suggest you to use study table, because you know these are winter times and it happens that when you study in bed you feel sleepy. So I would suggest you to study on study table, because that you remain energetic and you remain focused when you study on the table. Power naps work. This is my personal experience. Like during the afternoon times, I used to feel sleepy while studying. So what I used to do was I just set the alarm for around 20 minutes and I kept my head down on my table. And then after 20 minutes, I got up and I feel active, energetic, and zestful again. So this is the best time to save your time and at the same time feel energetic again. So coming to tips regarding particular subjects, first is geography. While preparing, you know, there are some chapters in Indian as well as the world geography, which are common, like the human settlement chapter. So it will be better if you prepare the common answers for the common topics in both the books. And for topics like distribution of minerals and energy resources, do prepare charts. Because in the book, the content, it is given in paragraph format and it becomes very difficult for you during the revision time. So if you prepare charts, it will help you a lot. Coming to map work is the most important thing for a humanities student. And I would suggest that you have around 3 months from now for your exams, and decide a day, mark all the places on the map which are given in the syllabus, and revise it again, because it will make you more accurate. Then while writing the exam for geography, during reading time, you should give priority to your MCQs and source-based questions. I would suggest you to leave a line after every MCQ, because what happens is, sometimes if you do not write without, if you write without leaving the lines, it might happen that the teacher might miss awarding marks to some of the MCQs. So I would suggest you to leave proper lines, because it will be your loss and you will be on the risk. And keep the 3 marks questions limited to 1.5 page and 5 marks questions to 2.5 page. In short, keep the time limit in mind and the length of the answer in your mind. Do use colors to mark in the map and use diagrams, because colors and diagrams, they make your answer more appealing. And generally in the map question, suppose if you are asked to mark 4 places out of 5, then students, what they do in elation, they mark all the 5 places. And sometimes it might happen that the teacher might think that the child is trying to act smart or something like that. So do stick to the instructions and read them carefully. So this is the picture I have shown you how to do the MCQs by leaving the lines, so that all of them are properly visible, and how to use diagrams in your answers so that it looks more captivating and more appealing. Now coming to political science, there is a book in political science, Politics in India Since Independence, and the content of the book is very vast. So student, they might think that I'll not be able to write the answers from this part if the question comes from this topic or that topic. So just believe me, revise all the chapters 3 to 4 times, and you'll be able to write the answers in a very wonderful way. The answer will automatically come to your mind when you will sit to write the exam. The most important thing is the back NCERT questions, especially the MCQs, true, false, match the columns, and passage. And cartoons, they're also very important, so do focus on them. While writing the exam, of course, the map work should be done very accurately. And again, I have shown you the length, what the answers should contain. And do use subheadings in the answers, because subheadings, they make your answer more captivating, and the teacher get to know what the content of the answer is at once. So, in long answers, every student, they can score good marks, but what makes the difference are these match the columns and these map work and all these things. So try to do them properly and correctly, especially the political science map work, because sometimes it becomes a bit confusing. So be careful in that part. And now coming to English, I would suggest all of you to prepare a short introduction of every chapter, because English paper is a bit lengthy, and if you have the introduction of every chapter with you, then you can directly start writing the answer. Like you can finish the first para in a very short time, and then the second para you can mold according to the question. Coming to writing skills, their pattern should be on your tips. Like you should not waste time in thinking how to start the letter, how to start the report writing, what is the pattern of writing this. So it should be on your tips. And I would suggest you to practice writing skills on board sheets, because they help you to get an idea on how much page to use and how much area to occupy. So it will help you in time management. And practice sample papers, keeping the time limit in mind, because if you practice sample papers, you'll get to know that by this time you will have to complete the reading section. By this time you'll have to complete the writing section and literature section. So you'll not panic during the exam, and you'll be calm and composed, and you'll do your exam in a wonderful manner. Most of the students, they waste their times in thinking of how to give a great start to articles and debates. So I would suggest you to prepare yourself with some attractive and catchy lines, so that you can give a great start to articles and debates without wasting time here. So while writing the exam, during reading time, give priority to the passage and to the writing section questions. and read them very carefully. And for the passage, you first read the questions which are given, and then you go to the reading of the passage. That will work. And some writing skills like notice and advertisement, they are to be kept in a box. So try to use a single page so that they are properly kept inside the box. And underlining the value points is the most important thing because it helps you to fetch marks. And I would suggest you to always write the paper in sequence, like first the reading part, then the writing part, and then the literature. Because in the reading and writing part, you have to think a lot. And when you have a lot of time, and you can think in a better way. And coming for for literature, everything is in your mind. You just have to recollect all the points and write, so you can do it in short time also. So I have shown you how to keep the like advertisement or notice in the box properly so that it looks wonderful, and how to underline the value points. Now for history, the figures, sources, map work, all these things are very, very important. So pay attention to them. And while writing in the exam, I would suggest for history, do write the 8 marks questions in short paras and not in subheadings. For history only. Others, geography and political science and English, you can use subheadings. And be careful with the map work. This is the way of how to use colors and in your map work and how to do them properly so that the teacher doesn't get confused and it is neat and clean and helps you to score more marks. Now coming to general tips, do give every pre-board exam because they help you to polish your skills of answer writing. And we are humanities students and we cannot practice all the sample papers by writing. So do practice at least 2 to 3 sample papers of every subject by writing. And for the rest, what you can do is just read the question, try to form the framework in your mind in which you'll be writing the answer to that question, and try to remember from which content of from which part you will be take the content of this answer, and you're done with the revision. And prefer to use 2 blue shades of pen because it makes your answer more attractive. And your writing and presentation matters a lot. The content is important, but writing and presentation, it gives you a head over the others. There are chances that a student, he might miss a question or a question might be left out. So take the questions after you have done them. And generally students, they might lose marks in grammar errors or spelling errors. So do revise the paper. It's a compulsion after the completion of the paper. And for a humanities students, percentage matters a lot. If you have the best percentage, you have the best college. So try to stay away from distractions, be it of any kind, at least for 12th. And the sources which can be referred are NCERT. It must be a first priority. And for back questions of NCERT, you can refer to CBSE sites. Like there's a CBSE app also. I used to refer to that. And books like Exam Idea, you can refer to them for NCERT back questions. For last 10 years solved papers, there's a bulky book, Oswal, CBSE 10 last year solved papers. You can refer to that. It has the question papers of all the subjects of humanities. And for objective type questions, I think Arihan sample papers, they are a bit good. And so all it needs is your determination, your hard work, your consistency, and your like health and everything. So I would suggest you to be calm and composed, believe in yourself, and all the very best for your exams. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakshi. Excellent delivery of your do's and don'ts and guidelines. I'm sure the students might have gained if they are taking notes of this. So I have one common question for all three of you, and you can answer one by one in the same order as you have delivered. Who has guided you towards all this? How have you got all these, from where have you got all these advices and guidelines as to what to do, what not to do, how to prepare? So Tushar, you can start with this. You are on mute, Tushar. Kindly unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. So actually, I searched it myself. searched it on internet on Quora Answers. I got this information from there, and also exam. So I can an answer to all those mistakes that I made. There, I, okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes. Damini?
I would say it is a combined result of everything that your teachers teach you throughout 11th and 12th, because both of those classes are geared towards the final preparation for your board exam. So you start in 11th. So all the tips that your teachers give you, pay attention to those and learn from your own mistakes, because trust me, you will make a lot of them.
That's true. That's true. Yes, Sakshi, can we hear you out also?
So, ma'am, the credit of all this goes to my teachers and my parents and many more persons in my life. So, first of all, teachers of my school, they're very helpful. Like they were providing us with map worksheets. Like they were doing a lot of hard work for the students. And even we were given like papers and everything. The pre-board exams were so systematically done. The questions were of a very high level. So our teachers were the guides in coming to like how I manage in my home, like health and everything. So my mother, like I don't have words, like she provided everything to me on the table. And like I don't have to worry about that I have to eat this, I have to eat that. Everything was on time in front of me. So I'll give all the credit to my teachers and to my parents. Thank you.
Well, that's wonderful, students. Thank you so much. You've explained your success mantra very proficiently. I hope our audience has made notes of all the do's and don'ts that you've provided them with. And I wish you all the luck for your future endeavors and hope that you continue walking towards your goals with the same determination as you've shown today and as you've shown in your 12th goals. So excellent, and we are very happy to have you with us. Thank you so much. And there is a feedback form in your chat window. Kindly fill that. I've provided the link also. Any words from Dr. Swati Jain, who is the head outreach here?
At Parul, students, it has been a wonderful experience to listen to you guys. And the way you have presented your points truly shows how much, how much hard work you have put in during your board examinations. Just to highlight, Tushar is the All India board topper, All India CBSE board topper, and has scored 100 marks in every subject and has 100% marks, with Sakshi and Damini, coming just way behind with 99.8 and 99.75% marks, I guess, Damini and Sakshi, am I correct? So this has been a wonderful experience and your hard work has paid off. Very true that stress should not be taken. We should not be worried. We should not harm ourselves. There have been many incidents of that kind also. But then your hard work is one thing that is reflecting. Out of the entire lot of people who have appeared for class 12th board examinations, 3 of you are here. Only 2 students, CBSE has declared only 2 students as board toppers in the previous year because of the COVID circumstances, and Tushar and the other girl, I guess she was Divyanshi, right? Only these 2 students have got their names, and the remaining you people, you have been wonderfully, working hard, and you have put in so much labor into your careers, into your education, that you have become the benchmark or, model for a role model for other students. And then when we were listening to you during this presentation, we could fairly see the difference in the way you have put in your points, how specific they were subject wise, then topic wise, then tips wise, that whether you should be underlining or highlighting. And I mean, yes, this 3 blue color pen, this was very, very specific, that we had never thought of the days. There are 3 different blue colored pens that you can use. I guess there is some foundation from the board examination side that you cannot use multiple pens, multiple colored pens. Am I correct in that? So there is this specific condition, and based on that, you have used 3 different blue colored pens. Or in English, you are saying that you should not use bullet points, and in history and geography, you must use bullet points. See, these are the specific things that subject-wise students who are appearing for boards need to take care of, and only then they can score such wonderful marks. Yes, stress should not be there. Yes, they should not, they should not be extra depression or extra problem, what should I say? They should not be extra stress that
Anxiety.
perform actually, but then a certain amount of pressure is always required to perform better. Thank you very much, Tushar, Damini, and Sakshi for these wonderful presentations and these wonderful inputs. Thank you, Ms. Parul and Ms. Shanu for coordinating the event so nicely. And we'll be getting back to you all. Simultaneously, as Parul ma'am has requested, please fill in the registration form and the feedback form to all the candidates. Thank you, Tushar. Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you, Damini. Over to you, Parul ma'am and Shanu ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. We are pretty much done here. And I'm just circulating the link of the feedback form again. So you all can click on it. It'll open and you fill it, submit the form. And you can copy the link also so that once we end the meeting, you all have the link with you. And
Parul ma'am, there's this small question from Tara wherein she wants to ask the toppers that about their individual timetable, like how much time to be dedicated to the different subjects. So either of you, Tushar, Damini, Sakshi, you can take this up if you.
I think they all can, just give a small brief about that individually one by one.
Yes, ma'am, there was no specific timetable. I used to make timetable, लेकिन मैं उसे stick नहीं कर पाता था. It used to go waste. So what I used to do, I used to wake up, and then there used to be a 4-hour slot. Okay, ma'am, there used to be a 4-hour slot. Then there was 2-hour gap, then 2-hour study, 2-hour gap. This used to be my pattern. So there used to be at least like 8 to 10 hours on before exams. 2 months before, it became 10 hours. All through the year was like 6 to 8 hours. So that was actually my study pattern.
Yes, Sakshi and Damini. Sakshi, probably first, and then Damini.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the timetable, it wasn't fixed at all. I tried to make the timetable like I'll get up at this, I'll do this, I'll do that, but I could not manage to do that. So when the schools were going on after school, I used to study to around 4 to 5 hours, and I was in bed by 10:30 and I got up at 6. So this time suits me the most. So that's why. And coming to during the exam, like when the exams were going on, so my timetable was the whole day I was studying. The thing is, a late night study I did not do. In the morning I studied, and during the exams it was like whole day studying and only for getting up for meals. So that's why I suggested that if you study on table, you'll able to manage with that. You'll not feel tired, you'll not feel sleepy. So that was all.
Yeah, I would agree. There was no such timetable. Instead, what I used to do is set goals that I would have to finish this subject in the next 3 days. And then however much time I needed to devote to each chapter, I would do that. There were some cases when it was relatively easy, so I would do it faster, and then some subjects took more time. So it really depends on how easy you find or difficult you find each subject, and that way you can tailor your timetable. Plus, because you will have many cycles of pre-boards, a timetable will be sort of made for you by the school, which will force you to study those subjects in that particular time frame. So try to take your pre-board seriously and stick to that timetable.
In case any other participant has any other questions, they may probably, raise their hand, or they may post in the chat, and then we'll take up the questions. So any other inputs from your sides, guys, that you think were you might have missed out, though you have prepared the PPTs very, very diligently and you have worked very hard on them. But one last pointer from each one of you that can conclude the discussion, and then that can conclude this webinar.
Yes, ma'am. A lot of people wonder about the timing. At what time we should study. According to me, ma'am, time will not matter at all. You can study in late night. You can study in early morning. Overall duration of the time will matter the most in last. So I used to study late night. Contrary to what Sakshi said, I used to do at late night, 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock. So time won't matter. So I want to say that.
And all you need is just believe in yourself and be positive towards your exam. Don't feel nervous whenever you go to give your exam. So that's all.
All I would like to say is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. You may be tempted to leave out this topic or that topic because ये उतना important नहीं है, but prepare each topic very well. Prepare for the worst paper you can imagine, and then hope for the best.
That's good advice from all three of you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and all the very best for anything and everything that you put your eyes on in future. Thank you so much, students. Are there any other doubts coming in your chat box, Shanu ma'am?
No, Parul ma'am, no upcoming questions or anything we have from the participants.
Okay.
There's one student who has asked me that is there a replay? Is there a replay? Like, yes, we'll be having a recording of this webinar, and that will be shared. The link of which will be shared. This will be uploaded. Parul ma'am, please brief about it.
Yeah, we have this page, Delhi Metropolitan Education, DME TV on YouTube. You can search it. You can search. You can, click on, just open YouTube, search DME TV. You'll have all the webinars that we conduct, all the activities that we do. Whatever we do in the institute is uploaded there. So these 3 webinars, each stream will also be uploaded on YouTube within a day or 2. So if you want to refer to them, if you want to see again what these toppers have spoken about, you can refer to the YouTube link. Yes, so
We have floated links of the YouTube channel, the Facebook and LinkedIn connections of DME. You may connect, you may, just visit these, and you may find multiple, items or multiple things of your interest, and you may be a part of this community.
So that's all from us in the stream of humanities. We would be reaching back to you again at 12:30 with the science stream, and after which we'll be covering the commerce stream. So thank you so much, toppers. We are glad to have you. Thank you. We'll be exiting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
We'll be ending the meeting now. So just copy the feedback form link, and fill this. Thank you so much. Thank you.